Very good evening to you all. Is everybody okay? What about it then? We've had the whole lot today, haven't we? It's been never-ending joy and fun. We've had German cabaret, we've had ballroom dancing, and now we've got this combination, the hot combination. Now every year I always get the late Sunday night slot. It's when everybody's a bit tired. That's what it is. And always have my wonderful friend and violin player, Emma Fisk. Lars has been a member of the hot combination before, haven't you? Yeah, look at that. Mr. Lars Frank, there he is. Yeah. Also, another member of the international hot combination, which we've had before, our wonderful friend Morten Gunnar-Larsen. And we've got a newbie with us tonight. He's not played with the hot combination before. He's no idea what goes on after the gig. And all the ritualistic stuff that entails, but it is of course Duke Heitger.
Thank you.
And before you all get too excited, I will point out to you that someone came up to me today and said, I can remember seeing you and Malcolm playing together years ago. You know, years ago. Well, I don't know, shall I tell them, Malc? Shall I tell them that last year was our Silver Jubilee? Not bad, is it? Yeah. I would like to say that me and Malcolm, not a cross word has been said. That's mainly because he's not had the chance to say a word. But anyway, Mr. Malcolm Sked, there we are. All right, listen. It's already gone to his head. It'd be unbearable. So, because it's always the hot combination, we always like to play a few tunes that are associated with the hot combination, which is run by Mr. Ukulele Ike. He's my great hero, I like Ukulele Ike. So we're going to play a few of his songs, and that's that really. This one's from 1924, it's called He's the Hottest Man in Town. You've heard of dynamos and raging volcanoes, but there's a man in our town, warmer than all. He's got 'em guessing, he's incandescent, burning up all the time. Say he's the hottest man, no one loves the way he can. He's just a scorching, syncopated fool. He plays the warmest melodies. Why, heaven knows he just melts those keys. That boy drinks hot water just to keep cool. And any time he plays those blues, he plays so doggone hard. He burns the leather off his shoes. His job is warming flats. Why all the girls put out the welcome mats. 'Cause he's the hottest man in town. Take it away! you very much, thank you. Well, there you go, you had a little bit of ukulele Ike's rather eccentric scat vocalising there. Do you know he was doing that about 7 years before Louis Armstrong invented it? There you go. It's incredible, isn't it, really? Yeah, yeah. Now, we're going to play a song now, and I'm going to dedicate this to two really good old friends. It's also another song that Ukulele Ike recorded. He recorded this, and all these songs come from my rather cranky old record collection that I've collected over the years. And I can tell you that this is on a black Columbia. Very good it is too. And two really good old friends of ours used to play this one and sing it. One was the late Alan Cooper, a clarinet player whom many of you might remember. He was a great character, a wonderful man. He used to play this tune, and the guy who used to sing it with him is another wonderful friend of ours, Ted Wood. So it's one that they used to do, and I'll do this especially for my pals who are here as well. So this is a song which has got to be one of the best titles ever. It's a tune called Hang On To Me, Hang On To Me, I'd like to hang you on my family tree. It's a love song by Ukulele Ike. Hot-do-do-do-do-do, hot-do-do-do-do-do, ba-boo, oh, what-I-do-do-do-do, oh, oh, honey, it's funny the way I feel about you. Start heating and begin needing a love that should be true. Oh, your kiss will be a revelation, so put a few into circulation. Start calling, begin falling the way I fell for you. Hang on to me, hang on to me, I'd like to hang you on my family tree. We're gonna get together, you better start right now. Why, you're over there and I'm over here. Come over, darling, and lend me an ear. We gotta get together, you better start right now. You've been around, looking around, just what you've been looking for. Now that I'm here, tell me how could you ask for more? Why, you've got the looks, I've got the charms. Come over, darling, and get in my arms. We gotta get together, you better hang on to me. Yeah, there you go. You don't hear that so often. It's a good old tune, isn't it? Now, here's a Walter Donaldson song. And once again, this is our one of my Black Columbia records of Ukulele Ike. And the reason I got into Ukulele Ike is, as a child, I showed a great interest in my grandfather, who was an ex-Wall of Death rider. There you go. He drove the steamroller for the county council, and when it was the Goose Fair every year, he used to race the Wall of Death motorcycles round the Motordrome. Previous to that, he had been a speedway rider. There you go. He also made a record. I was always very proud of the fact that my grandfather made a 78 RPM record in 1934. How about that? It's good, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, it transpires that it was one of these records that you could go into a shop and make. Okay? And he went in and he sang a Frank Crumit song called Down by the Railroad Track, which is filthy. And he recorded this song, and then he promptly, and he was a ukulele player, you see, my grandfather, great ukulele player. He promptly then had an extremely frightening accident on one of his motorcycles and lost 2 fingers. So it was always great whenever, you know, whenever people said, "How are you?" and he'd go, "I'm great, great." It was a bit of a joke in the family. It slightly curtailed his ukulele playing. He couldn't play the ukulele then. So he went on to piano with disastrous consequences. But the interesting thing is, when I found out about this record, I thought, how fantastic. My grandfather made a 78. My great uncle also made records because he was an actor and he was on soundtracks. And my father made a record as a boy soprano. I thought, this is great, we've got 4 generations of my family making records. And then I found out that my Auntie Brenda had heated it up and turned it into a plant pot. Now, those of you who are thinking this is another one of his stories, I'm not kidding you, it's true. And the plant pot was thrown away. All that Langham heritage thrown away in one go. I know. Anyway, so my grandfather used to sing songs like this, and it got me onto George Formby and Ukulele Ike. My dad bought me a Ukulele Ike record, and that kind of changed it all, really. So it's a pleasure to play these songs for you. So Walter Donaldson's Just Like a Melody Out of the Sky. I feel in my glory when evening appears, but it's just the same old story that's been going on for years. When night is falling and songbirds calling and evening breezes sigh, just like a melody from out of the sky. My little love nest is just a dream nest. A babbling brook rolls by, just like a melody from out of the sky. It's just like paradise to somebody and me. If it were half as nice, how happy we'd be. Gee, it's just like heaven. It seems like heaven to hear a baby cry. Just like a melody from out of the sky. It's just like paradise to somebody and me. If it were only half as nice, how happy we'd be. Gee, it's just like heaven. It sounds like heaven to hear a baby cry. Just like a melody from out of the sky. Okay, there we go. Now, we're going to play you one more tune, and that's a particularly poignant tune, that, to hear a baby cry. There we go, look. Fantastic. They're waving like that, look at that. Look at that. Wonderful. Goodness me. I had a baby boy once, my boy, and he's a big grown man now. But, he's called Eddie, and of course my second name is Langham. It doesn't take a lot of working out with all you classic jazz aficionados here to work out that I named my son after Eddie Lang. Yeah. Well, he didn't know that, and I never told him. I never told him because I thought that would be far too much information for a teenager to know. Especially one that, you know, doesn't want to do what you want him to do. And then when he was about 14, he said to me, "Mum's not very happy with you." I'd done something wrong anyway. And she's also told me that you named me after an Italian guitarist. And I said, well, I kind of did in a way, you know. I said his name was Salvatore Massaro, but your mum wouldn't go for that. So we stuck with Eddie Langham, Eddie Lang like that, you know. And it's good, isn't it? Apparently, after all these years, he's informed me that I made a wise choice because he's either Eddie or Ed or Eddie. There you go. So he's very pleased with it. So we come to our final number. Now this, there you go. This is an interesting thing. This song is called "A Hi-Hat, a Piccolo and a Cane," and it is an interesting song in many, many ways because it was performed by Putney Dandridge, who was a superb piano player and singer, ran a wonderful band. He should really be known as much as Fats Waller, really, because he had a little band like that and it was just excellent. He happened to have wonderful people like Red Allen playing with him and stuff like that as well. So it's always hot music. And this song came about because of a publicity photograph. And Benny Goodman, the king of swing, well, Goodman came from, as you all know, I'm sure, abject poverty. He came from poverty, and as soon as he started making money, he realised that if he really, really, really worked hard at playing the clarinet, which he plainly did, didn't he? He would make some money, okay? So he did, and he got in all the bands, and he did what Benny Goodman did. He was excelled at playing and was perfect. But, you know, it's tough being a musician, and it's sometimes better to be in someone else's band. So he got the work where the work came, and Ted Lewis, the band leader, thought, I'll get that Benny Goodman. And Ted Lewis ran a very commercial orchestra, one which we are particularly fond of, aren't we, Malcolm? We are. But, you know, some of the people, you could show a bit more enthusiasm. Good Lord. These are your people. It's all right, it's nearly over. So, anyway, to cut a very long story short, Benny Goodman hated playing with Ted Lewis because it was commercial, he considered it corny, he couldn't wait to get out of there, and he just got really good. So he left, it didn't work out for him, and he went back. They all did. they all went back to Ted Lewis because Ted Lewis paid well and got the gigs. And Benny Goodman went off to be Benny Goodman again, and it didn't work out. So he went back to Ted Lewis again. And then he went a third time, and he became the Benny Goodman we all know, the king of swing. Now, he didn't enjoy Ted Lewis's band. So when he had his first publicity photo, you would never expect that he dressed up like Ted Lewis. Benny Goodman's first publicity photo, he had a top hat, his clarinet under his arm, like Ted Lewis, a silver top cane. Why did he do that? And all of his friends and musicians couldn't believe that Goodman had done that, you know. So the song was written about the publicity photo, a hi-hat, a piccolo, and a cane. The king of swing's coming to town. All I can say is it better be good after that. Who's that man they call the king of swing and everything? Came into town and busted my love affair. Why, he just played a few hot licks and played some neat clarinet tricks. When I looked round, my sweetie wasn't there. Who stole my heart away with a minor strain? A hi-hat, a piccolo, and a cane. Who said my love for her cost her a pain with a hi-hat, a piccolo, and a cane? Red hot balloon, crap shooting, piccolo tuning, opera just came into town, and the music went round and round. She thought I was okay till he stepped off that train with a hi-hat, a piccolo, and a cane. Thank you.